China didn't just make a financial move, it detonated a monetary earthquake. In a stunning escalation, Beijing has launched a full-scale push to globalize the RMB, bypassing the US dollar and SWIFT system entirely. For decades, global trade flowed through Washington's hands, dollars in, dollars out. But that pipeline is now cracking. Behind closed doors, China's state banks are settling billion-dollar trades in Yuan, backed by its growing network of CIPS nodes and digital wallets across 100-plus countries. This isn't a test run, it's operational. And it's working! As America raises sanctions and tariffs, China is responding with something far more dangerous: a parallel financial system. The world's monetary rules are changing, and Beijing is writing the next chapter. In Q2 of 2025, China flipped the switch on its long-standing financial ambition to make the renminbi, RMB, a true global currency. According to the People's Bank of China, cross-border RMB settlements hit a historic record, over 1.2 trillion yuan in just 90 days, with over 40% of those transactions routed outside of SWIFT. Beijing isn't broadcasting this move through speeches, it's executing it through infrastructure. Through CIPS, the cross-border interbank payment system. China is now clearing transactions in real time, bypassing the old SWIFT network that has defined global trade for nearly half a century. Unlike SWIFT, which merely transmits messages, CIPS moves actual money, fast, direct, and without U.S. oversight. At the center of this expansion is the digital Yuan, ECNY, programmable, traceable, and embedded directly into China's export financing. In recent weeks, China signed new bilateral trade settlement deals with Malaysia, Argentina, Pakistan, and even UAE, all allowing direct payment in yuan, no dollars involved. And now China is offering incentives, lower interest trade loans, instant settlement, and technical integration with local payment systems, essentially giving countries a plug-and-play alternative to dollar-based trade. This is not a symbolic gesture, it's a strategic escalation. By embedding RMB in trade pipelines, port financing, and energy deals, China isn't just making its currency more global, it's building a new financial nervous system, one node at a time. And for nations burned by U.S. sanctions or dollar dependency, the message is clear. There's another way, and China built it. For China, bypassing SWIFT isn't just about speed, it's about sovereignty. The Society for Worldwide Interbank Financial Telecommunication, or SWIFT, has long been dominated by Western institutions and ultimately governed under US-EU influence. While SWIFT claims neutrality, the system has been used as a financial weapon, most notably when the US ejected Russia in 2022, freezing billions in assets and crippling transactions overnight. Beijing took notes. Since then, China has quietly accelerated its CIPS infrastructure, signed over 40 bilateral currency swap agreements, and embedded RMB settlement channels into Belt and Road projects from Pakistan to Africa. The goal? To insulate Chinese trade from U.S. interference and build a de-dollarized ecosystem that can't be switched off from Washington. The dollar's dominance relies on two things: global trust and exclusive infrastructure. China is challenging both. Trust? China now offers stable, transparent, bilateral settlement terms, backed by its central bank. For countries under U.S. pressure, think Iran, Venezuela, or even Turkey, the appeal of an alternative is no longer theoretical, it's urgent. Infrastructure? CIPS, paired with the digital yuan, offers instant clearance, traceability, and no reliance on correspondent banking, something SWIFT can't match. According to the Bank for International Settlements, digital RMB transactions reduce cross-border costs by up to 80%. This isn't just about challenging American dominance, it's about hedging against it. The more the U.S. uses the dollar as a compliance tool, the more it incentivizes nations to build workarounds. And now, With Japan quietly piloting yuan transactions and Saudi Arabia exploring RMB oil invoicing, China's system is no longer theoretical. It's alive and the world is plugging in. CIPS, China's cross-border interbank payment system, is the backbone of this new monetary world. Unlike SWIFT, which merely sends messaging instructions between banks, CIPS executes full value transfers. It's faster, cheaper, and, most critically, under zero U.S. jurisdiction. As of mid-2025, CIPS connects over 1,400 banks across 110 countries, processing more than $80 billion, 0 cents, daily. But what makes it truly disruptive is its integration with the digital yuan, ECNY, China's programmable, centrally controlled digital currency. Killer yuan is already being used in pilot trade settlements across the Gulf, Southeast Asia, and Africa. Chinese state banks now offer ECNY-denominated letters of credit, with interest rates up to 40 basis points lower than dollar equivalents. Ports in Kenya, Malaysia, and Pakistan have begun accepting ECNY for infrastructure payments, cutting delays and bypassing forex costs entirely. The system isn't just operational, it's expanding. China's strategy is clear. Embed its rails into global trade before Western systems can react. And now, with UAE, Brazil, and even Indonesia exploring CIPS integration, China isn't knocking on the door of financial dominance. It's already inside and building from the ground up. China's RMB expansion isn't just shaking financial systems, it's redrawing geopolitical boundaries. As more nations adopt the yuan for trade and debt settlements, the US dollar's diplomatic leverage is eroding. Washington's influence has long depended on its ability to enforce sanctions, control capital flows, and dictate terms through swift access. But Beijing's alternative now gives nations an off-ramp, a way to trade, borrow, and grow without asking permission from the West. That shift is forcing global powers to reassess. Saudi Arabia has opened negotiations to price oil exports to Asia in yuan. Brazil has signed cross-border RMB deals covering everything from agriculture to minerals. Even ASEAN countries are launching digital yuan pilot corridors through state-linked banks. In response, U.S. lawmakers have sounded the alarm, calling the RMB push a threat to global financial transparency. But the world isn't waiting. Countries with fragile currencies or strained dollar reserves are flocking to Beijing's rails, not out of ideology, but necessity. This isn't about replacing the dollar overnight. It's about building multipolar liquidity, where America no longer sets the rules unchallenged. And with every new participant, China's shadow over the global economy grows deeper. For the first time in decades, the US dollar's supremacy is being questioned. Not by enemies, but by former allies. Japan, Saudi Arabia, Brazil. Nations that once anchored their economies to the greenback are now diversifying. And the reasons are structural, not symbolic. America's reliance on sanctions and tariffs as tools of diplomacy has backfired. Each new restriction has pushed countries to seek alternatives. CIPS, yuan swaps, barter systems, anything to reduce exposure to Washington's control. The more the U.S. uses the dollar as a weapon, the more it accelerates its own decline as a neutral global currency. According to the IMF, the dollar's share in global reserves dropped below 58% in early 2025, a 25-year low. Meanwhile, yuan-based settlements have more than tripled in just 18 months, with dozens of central banks now holding renminbi as part of their official reserves. Wall Street still insists the dollar is irreplaceable, but in the real world, countries are already shifting, and the rise of programmable currencies, like the digital yuan, offers something even more powerful than liquidity: control. The decline won't be loud. It will be quiet, steady, and unstoppable. Because the new financial order isn't coming, it's already here. The collapse of financial empires doesn't come with explosions. It comes with choices quietly made in boardrooms, with contracts written in new currencies, and with trade routes silently rerouted through systems the West can't monitor. China isn't asking the world to revolt against the dollar. It's simply offering a better deal: faster payments, lower costs, and freedom from American scrutiny. And one by one, countries are saying yes. This isn't just a challenge to SWIFT or to the Federal Reserve. It's a rewriting of the global monetary script. The US dollar once reigned because it offered security and neutrality. But in a world of financial weapons, neutrality is dying. And China's code is rising in its place. So here's the question. If the next global crisis hits, and liquidity doesn't come from Washington, will the world accept Beijing's terms instead? Because this isn't just a financial race. It's a battle for who writes the rules, who moves the money, and who holds the kill switch.